Welcome to Toffee TV. I am joined like a monthly chat now with our overseas correspondent, fans forum member, Chicago Evertonian. It's Tony Sampson on the line. So how are you, mate?
I'm very well indeed, mate. It's a really good time to be a Blue, isn't it?
It is. I keep saying, because we haven't kicked the ball yet, so at the moment, no one can disprove we're not the best team in the land at the minute, with the most exciting players. So it's all good. If you can't be excited and looking forward to the season now, you're never going to be, are you? But let's just, obviously, it's been a huge week, really, in terms of people coming in and everything. We'll get on to some other stuff in a minute, but I mean, what's it been like for you as a Blue Nose, first of all? Obviously, we had Alan on Saturday morning. That was confirmed. We won our last pre-season friendly, which we never do. And then, obviously, the big thing was obviously James Rodriguez on Monday. But before we talk about James Rodriguez, there was Abdoulaye Doucouré as well on Tuesday, which is, for me, is a huge signing anyway, because he's everything Everton have needed. But let's leave James to one side just for a minute, because I'm sure we're going to look at that in closer detail. But the other two lads, the big thing that I'm kind of boosted by is that the manager's seen what we all seen, is that midfield needed changing, and he's gone out and got what looked like two excellent players for us to go in the heart of that midfield engine room.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, in a way, I'm first of all, it's just, I'm buzzing. It's great, to be in this position, and just, as you say, have three exciting signings through the door. But to your point, mate, I think I'm a little bit more excited by the prospect of Alan and Doucouré than I am by James.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got everything that he brings in terms of, his world sort of class credibilities and everything off the pitch. But, it's been obvious, hasn't it, that we've missed, that ball winning, that grit in the middle of the field, that leadership. So I'm more looking forward to seeing, how they'll plug into the team. So we haven't got that long to wait now. Because I think they'll add something that we've been missing for a long time. And Alan, I think we've all seen the videos and what have you of him celebrating when he's making his tackles. But and it's going to be a shame really that there's going to be more people there to sort of see that sort of stuff. But they're the type of players that typically the Blues have responded to in the past, isn't it? They know. They'll give absolutely everything for the shirt. They'll put themselves about. You can almost feel Goodison sort of reacting to them. Sticking something on someone. So, and also, they can obviously play, and also with that sort of forward thinking mentality. So, yeah, I think I'm more excited by those two than James actually, and obviously, he brings a lot. So we haven't got long to wait to see how it all pans out now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, he's the icing, if you want, or the cherry on the top or whatever. But those two, for me, it was absolutely critical that Everton addressed that situation. And I think you're right, as well as the grit, and we've lost that grit in that ball winner since Ghana went, but these two have got a bit more about them in terms of being able to play as well. Alan, we've seen him against Liverpool in the Champions League, have great games, but he reminds me, you'll get onto this as well, he reminds me a little bit of Peter Reid, the way he goes and engages people, and he doesn't mind giving a tackle, and he picks the rest of the team up, and Everton haven't had that for a while, really. And then obviously alongside that, you've got Abdoulaye Doucouré, who's Premier League proven, who we know, but he'll add goals from the centre of the park, which again is, said on, I keep bringing it up on all of our videos last season and this season preview stuff, is that our midfield, including our wingers, got 9 goals between them last season. This fella's averaged 5-6 for Watford the season, so that's just from the middle of the park. So if he can add another half a dozen goals for us this season and other people can weigh in, those two can be absolutely critical, I think, for us going forward.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's like they also seem to bring a little bit of personality as well, and character. So, I think that's another area that we've been missing for a long time. And as I say, they look like Everton players. So, don't want to get too carried away before they kick the ball. But the prospects are good. And I read this morning just before I got up, as well, Carlo was talking about sort of the shift maybe in the transfer strategy. and the fact that, you know, we did need to bring in, you know, maybe some a little bit more mature players to sort of help sort of some of the youth as well. So, you know, and also him saying that like these players wanted to play for Everton, you know, and I'm sure that all players when they're looking to sign for a new club say that, but you know, that was one of the things that he was looking for was, you know, their desire to play. So fingers crossed, mate.
Fingers crossed, and hopefully raise the levels of people like Andre Gomez, who we know is a good footballer, but just didn't quite happen for him last season.
Yeah, I'm missing a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we can get a bit more out of Sigurdsson if he stays, and a bit more out of Davis if he's needed, you know, or whoever, you know. But hopefully these will raise the level. Obviously, the third, you know, third member there of the signing club this week, and obviously the biggest and the one that's caught the world's imagination, it seems like, is James Rodriguez. And I think just on a purely footballing basis, first and foremost, probably the biggest name ever to sign for Everton. I should imagine, certainly with his global reach. Wayne Rooney was massive when he come back, but we'd made him anyway. He was ours to start with. And obviously, James Rodriguez, for me, honest, and has been a world-class player in Everton. Probably haven't had a world-class player really since maybe Andre Cancelo.
Yeah.
Lukaku was an absolutely fantastic centre forward and probably in that bracket, but coming to Everton, that world-class ability. We know he's had injury problems. We know his career hasn't gone probably the way he hoped, which is why he's coming to Everton. But nonetheless, that left foot, there's some talent in it, isn't it?
Oh, completely. You know, we've seen all the footage of the ability that he's got. So, you know, again, hopefully this is a bit of a start for him to, you know, to kick on from there. And, you know, I don't think that you sign and play for teams like he has, you know, if you haven't obviously got, that talent. So it's great. And also there's clearly a trust and a respect there with Carlo as well. And I think that's important, isn't it, for some players to, you know, to know that they've got somebody that can, you know, bring out the best in them, put them in the best sort of, you know, system and help them develop on that. So, you know, hopefully all those things click for us. And, you know, hopefully the players sort of, you know, continue with the buzz of what's going around as well. You know, that'll be, you know, a few new faces and stuff. Hopefully it'll lift, as you say, some of those other players that you know, maybe haven't sort of been playing so well in the last season or two. So yeah, he definitely brings. We know it's there, and we just now hope it sort of, you know, sort of pieces together with the rest of the new signings. But they're exciting. I mean, as you say, the prospect of somebody with his reach. You know, first and foremost, we need to see what he does on the pitch. That's the most important thing. But you know, all the other stuff and the reach that he's got as well just adds to, you know, the sort of the mystery and the intrigue as well, doesn't it?
It does. So let's move on to that then. Let's leave the football to one side a little bit now and move on to the other stuff. And we saw, you know, there was the buzz and excitement about it all over the weekend. There was people at the hotel and pictures with him and worrying and stories and everything else. But it eventually came to Everton revealing him as an Everton player. And club, I think personally, the club done an absolutely amazing job with it. Being critical of the club not doing things like this at the time. I don't think the club done enough when we had Wayne Rooney, I'm not going to lie. 4 weeks later after he'd come, it made it very difficult to market him. But in the opening month, we had a great opportunity and we almost done it apologetically. Did we do enough for Tim Cahill and Tim Howard? No, we didn't. But it's about moving forward, isn't it? And we've got a global superstar. And I think the club reacted accordingly, and we saw... we saw the Lime Street, you know, in Lime Street, the thing going across with James. We saw the building in Bogota, the tallest building, you know, in Bogota, lit up with the 19. And we saw, obviously, Miami. And then the big one, I think, the one that everyone kind of went, where was obviously Times Square in New York, seeing it there as well. And I just think the club have done a very good job with it. And it's about building on it. But you're in America, so, you know, what was it there for you to see in Chicago? Was it news in Chicago, or was it still a little bit underplayed, or what? Because here it's huge.
No, I think the impact was just as big, and I agree with you. I think the way that the club managed that and got out ahead of the signing was really impressive. And you're right. I think there's been, you know, rightfully sort of, you know, criticism in the past of maybe us not sort of taking advantage of the opportunities that we've had with those players that you've mentioned. You know, it's a constant sort of issue here, you know, when people talk about Tim Howard and McBride and all the other players that we've talked about. But, you know, we can't, you know, that's gone now. And I say, I think we have got to look forward, and I don't think anybody can criticise the club and the way they managed to sign it, because I thought it was really impressive, and it shows the ambition for me as well. You know, it shows the front. You know, I remember when City did, was it when Tevez signed for and he did
and all that stuff.
Exactly, and it's just you know, as you say, you know, what they did in the city, you know, back home, and you know, the billboards there, and then obviously in the key markets out here, it has a massive impact, and you know, people definitely notice it. I mean, my phone was buzzing. In fact, I was in touch with there's a guy who runs the Vice City Evertonians in Miami, you know, and we were just talking about how things were going out, and he was made up, we've signed James, and then he says, hang on, I've just had a text to say he was on Miami Beach at the time.
Oh,
and he said, I've just had a text to say, look out onto the water because there's a boat with a big billboard of our new sign. And he's like, I can't see it. But again, that's built the excitement for him. Same with I was speaking to Michael Setterberg, who runs the New York Evertonians, right. And he was the same. You know, he sent me a note. He said, I think there's something in Times Square. So he sent someone down to go and have a look from the club as well. So, you know, he was sending pictures around. But yeah, it's created a real sense of excitement. And we've talked before, you know, there's not just in the US, but everywhere else, there's a massive network of supporters club here that's built up over time, you know, that has been, you know, and has never gone away, even despite the fact that we haven't, you know, been that successful on the pitch. So now they're seeing maybe after some of the words and some of the things that have happened in the past, that, you know, the club's serious about, you know, sort of investing in the international market, which is brilliant. You know, it just gives everybody a lift apart from the football side and give them something to believe in. And, you know, obviously what I want to do now is make sure that the supporters clubs are involved in, you know, these plans, because I think what it does, it just gives them a chance to the club to sort of accelerate some of the stuff that they've been doing. And we've talked a little bit before about, you know, the International Academy affiliation and the online friendly and the work that, you know, that they're doing to support the clubs. But now I think it just takes it to, you know, a different level. And I suppose the challenge now, mate, is, you know, after all that Razzmatazz has of, you know, the unveiling and everything, is how do they maintain that? You know, and really sort of seize the opportunity. So, you know, fingers crossed that, you know, they're going to be doing it. And again, you know, they're obviously making, you know, moves to sort of try and solidify this, aren't they, with the, you know, the plans for the US base, which again is sort of really welcome. So, yeah, you know, let's hope that now, you know, this is the start of that sort of, you know, global Everton brand.
Well, we have got to build on. It's important. It's difficult. I mean, in some respects, it's over to you now, James, isn't it? You know, he starts knocking a couple in with that left foot one division. Build. But even if it just takes a little bit of time, the interest is there. We've had unbelievable numbers on our videos talking about James, unbelievable amounts of Colombians come on, and, you know.
Just wait till they see this one.
Exactly. They see us on it, mate. That's it. It's going through the roof. You know, I'm writing replies in Spanish and everything, trying to go find subtitles and all that, you know. So just even that, but it is about building that, because it's about spreading our brand. Yeah, we did revel for a while in L4, and it's all us, and it's only us, and we don't care about, you know, we're from the city, and we live a mile away and 2 and 3 miles away from that was great for a while. Football as you know, we have to catch up. We have to catch up. We're playing, you know, everybody else is jogging along nicely, and we've been walking, and we've got a sprint now to try and close that gap, because the others we've seen Manchester City opening New York City in there, and they're a big presence in the US. Chelsea have been present in the US for years. Liverpool have gone every year practically to build their brand up. United are big anyway. Everton have got to try to spread it far and wide, and this is the club have done really well, and obviously James will help it. And if he does, and we have some of those big moments that he's produced, I'm not talking about, listen, if we win something incredible, but I'm just talking about if he's success and a positive influence on the team, and we have those moments when he gets winners, and he's creative. And I think Everton will continue to grow. And what the club have to do, and they have done it this week, to be fair, they haven't let it die down. They've doubled down on content. Even yesterday there was a joint press conference with Rodriguez and Ancelotti. I thought that was clever. So there's all little tidbits coming off it. We need him to deliver, and if he delivers, we need the club to make sure they're ready to hammer home everything. And so far it seems like they are, and with the helps of yourself and other clubs over there as well, how can we keep the conversation going? I guess that's the challenge for them, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think you're right. I think if you look at some of those clubs that have sort of, established themselves in different markets, you're right. I think the number one ingredient to that is success on the pitch. Obviously, that's a thing. And, we haven't been in that position, obviously, for a long time now. But again, the hope there is with Carlo and, with these few players coming in, that we can move to that level on the playing field. So, so you're right. I think the other ingredient for sort of, expansion globally, probably in any setting, supported by the right commercial structure, is, have you got something that people want to see, hear, buy, or, get interested in? And clearly with the Hammers thing, we've got that now. And it isn't just in South America, it's beyond there as well. Obviously South America and Latin America is the focus. So, those things are now sort of moving, in the right place, and I think that's why people are excited. And of course, as we said, we've got this network of supporters groups and others. We know that people have stuck with us, through thick and thin. So to your point, it's now really important that sort of all of those three different elements now sort of come together and keep building that momentum. So we're really looking forward to that. The supporters clubs, I think I've told you before, certainly in the US, now we've got a network of supporters group leads that are interacting regularly, on sort of all the socials and sort of WhatsApp groups, and sort of dropping in ideas and things and wanting to know how they can expand. This obviously, I think, moves things a little bit to a different level potentially. So, what I myself and Joe O'Reilly will be saying to the club, and have been, is well, how can we now integrate this expansion strategy with the supporters clubs as well, and make sure that they continue to be involved? Because some of the issues that we've been talking about for a long time, like can you get a shirt, can you get merchandise, how easy is it to do that? Those things now are top of mind. So again, I know the club has made an announcement this week around sort of trying to maximise their distribution channels through Fanatics, so that everyone can get access to the shirt as much as they can. So they're things I hope now that we can get a little bit of grit in and move forward. But the opportunities are there, and I agree. The club is in this first phase has done a good job. It's now, as you say, we've got to keep that momentum, got to keep the positivity. And like you said there about L4, look, as I'm a Scouser, and I'm dead proud of my city, and my family and mates are all still there and everything, and that's part of it. But there's thousands of Blues in every corner of the world, that have been chosen by Everton, and as you say, like the hardly glory hunters, mate, are they? And they've stuck with it, and there's something about Everton that they've wanted to connect to, have stayed connected to, and as I say, have stuck through with us. So now we've got to embrace that sort of loyalty and that passion for our club, with the opportunities that this all brings. So it's exciting. It's really exciting.
Right. I mean, last time you were on, the survey had been done, and we got through that, the international survey, and we've had all kinds of responses. Where are we up to with that? Have you had any more on that?
Yeah. So that's what's been really great, is that that's like an ongoing dialogue now, between, first of all, Joe and I, with the different clubs around the world, but also with the club itself. So I think we told you that we'd made some recommendations around, based on the survey findings, based on a number of issues like retail, like how the clubs engage and connect and sort of build that profile and presence, how they can sort of help engage and find Evertonians of the future in their localities. How do we grow those, as well as things like sort of, you know, tickets and even sort of connecting with Everton in the community as well. They were some of their findings. So you know, we sat down with the club. In fact, we've had a few meetings now to go through those. The club has taken those on board, listened to they've actually, over the last number of weeks and months, you know, they've been reaching out to the supporters clubs to get their input as well. So they've been saying, you know, we've heard this, you know, we had X, Y, and Z. We're coming up to the new season. You know, what are the things that are important to you? Which is again a really good signal. So they've been asking for that and using that then with the survey to inform some of their plans. So I know, you know, they'll be sort of sharing some of this in the weeks ahead. But, you know, for example, you know, they're looking to make sure that, you know, there's a number of states in the US still that haven't got official affiliated supporters clubs. So I know that, you know, they're keen to close that gap, which is great because we can all help sort of spread the word to make sure that you know, there's a blue supporters club in every state. Help the process to sort of become an official supporters club as well. They had a bit of feedback that some of it was a little bit clunky and cumbersome, so they're refining that and they're working on that, which actually is important to some of the clubs. Yeah. They've got ideas as well around, you know, how can they support the existing supporters clubs with, you know, starter packs and also with, you know, sort of running events and how they can keep their own members engaged. So they're going to be working on that. I think they're keen to sort of highlight a little bit more of a spotlight on some of the supporters clubs to build that connection, you know, and so everybody gets to hear a little bit more about that. They did supporters club of the week throughout last season, just you know, signaling, you know, whether it was France or, you know, wherever it was, Spain, you know, Madrid or whatever. But I think they want to delve into a little bit more detail, so we all get to hear those Everton stories and share them. So that'll be good. They did a number of Zoom meetings with, you know, some of the ambassadors and others with supporters clubs overseas and in the UK actually last season, obviously with the, you know, with the pandemic. So I think they'll want to continue with that. And I don't know, what it does is it just creates that sense of community, I think. Yeah. You know, and people want to throw it on social media. They're talking about it. I mean, I see it, you know, I see the reaction to, you know, to some of those things, and they might seem small, but they're not, you know, knowing that the club is engaging and wants to engage, you know, it gets people talking, you know, in between the different supporters clubs. So that's all moving forward, and, you know, we'll sort of, you know, we'll continue to talk to them. They've been, you know, very open to the feedback that we've given them, and you know, they were obviously already working on a number of things, you know, before the season. So what we're trying to do now is to sort of compliment them and then move forward.
Brilliant. And last time we chatted, you talked about possibly having a meeting with Hummel. So is that taking place, or are you still waiting?
No, we're actually, it was this week, I think. So yeah, we met. So the forum has got a number of sort of different sort of working groups. I think I've explained this before. So we've got one that looks at sort of stadium atmosphere, one's on catering, we've got obviously the international group, we've got one that's at the events, and then we've also got one for retail specifically, and that, you know, that sort of meets with sort of the various different partners and the club. So, you know, we talked last time about, you know, some of the noise around, you know, some of the isolated examples of the badges and availability and that sort of thing. So, you know, they're the types of things that, you know, we've taken them through there. So yeah, but we met with a guy called Philip Trulson, who's the chief brand officer at Hummel. Okay. It was largely an introductory meeting, but we were able to talk about some of the things that we've raised with you before. And, you know, what was quite interesting with him, he's a Swede, actually. He's a Swede that's working for a Danish company. So that was an interesting dynamic itself. But he's actually worked for some other sort of fairly big brands as well in the US. So he understands the dynamics of certainly the US market, which I thought was quite encouraging. So he was quite alive to some of the issues we've raised in terms of distribution and availability and shipping and those things. He talked very positively about sort of the initial stages of the partnership with the club, which was good. And I think we've all you know, we've all read about that. But from an international perspective, you know, he was very clear in letting us know that, you know, this is a significant part of what they, you know, what they want to be focusing on over the course. They've got, you know, they've obviously got bases in different parts of the world that, you know, I think they're going to try and sort of use the stuff we've just been talking about. Obviously, whilst that's largely an issue for Fanatics in terms of distribution, Hummel have obviously got an interest in that. So, you know, the whole Hammers thing is going to be important. But you know, we raised a couple of things like some of the data that we got from the survey around this. You know, he wanted to know about that to sort of inform the stuff that they've already got. So again, that was a good signal. We raised with them. So we've had a lot of feedback around the fact that in-store presence, particularly in some countries, Ireland is one specific example, where you used to be able to walk into the shop and actually get the shirts and what have you. That's changed, has gone away. So we were able to flag that with him. Again, open and receptive. He's asked for more information around what might be the opportunities to do that. You know, I think they've got, you know, a sort of twin strategy, obviously, of online as well as sort of in-store retail, and they've obviously got to balance it with demand. But again, he was like, look, if you've got ideas or if you think that there's things that we're missing, then do that. So again, we provided that. So it was a good sort of introduction to to the conversation. And the other thing as well is they've got a history, Hummel, of getting fan input into some of the product lines and that sort of stuff. So that again, the fact that they've done it before, I think, is encouraging. So again, now we want to make sure that they continue to do that for future product lines and what have you. So yeah, it was a good sort of healthy exchange, and we'll obviously follow that through now with the club officials and hopefully see them again as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, really important, isn't it? That you've got that relationship, they are listening to the fans. So I had loads of people when we've been talking about obviously the Hammers thing and saying, can we get shirts? Or we were saying, if you can't get shirts, get a t-shirt that's like a replica of the Everton kit almost, but a cheap version with his name on. Because especially if in Colombia, a couple of our Colombian people were on saying the shirts are like 3 weeks' wages or sort of whatever it is.
That's right.
But if you could get a t-shirt for I don't know, $15, but it's an Everton thing with Hammers 19 on the back, but it's an opportunity. Is there enough of that going on? But we've also had the Irish fans on them saying, I can't even get a shirt in Ireland. And it's like, without going online. And that, I mean, that isn't good, is it? It's not good you walk into a sports store and you can get every kit and Everton represented. It doesn't send out the right message, I don't think.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So, and again, hopefully now, we've got the opportunity, and I think you're right. Having that sort of understanding of how things play in those different markets is going to be critical as well. The point you just made around, sort of the cost of things is a real issue. And we've all seen, the black market opportunities there for people. They're rife. So that's obviously got to be part of what the club thinks about. But it's funny actually. All the Twitter exchanges and social media stuff. When we tweeted, I think somebody, it was a Colombian fan, had sort of said, oh, this is great, Hammers is joining Everton, and we replied, well done, and welcome to the family. And then we got a follow up actually from a couple of Colombians straight away, and they're based in Chicago.
Oh.
So we've been in touch with them, and now they're going to come to the game on Sunday. They're Evertonians instantly. So again, that's just a very small example of sort of the impact of some of this stuff. Wow. So hopefully on the commercial side as well, we can match that that interest and attraction to Everton with the retail and stuff. But it feels good to be a Blue, doesn't it, at the moment?
It is. We've got I think I've seen you saying something the other day. You might have just said it in our thing. If only we could bottle this feeling, when we're all buzzing and positive. But again, we can only do as much as we can, and the team off the pitch can only do as much as they can. And it does just boil down to Carlo and the boys now to go out and start delivering. And we know we're old enough to have seen it last time, so when it was incredible. But if Everton are waiting to be ignited, aren't they? And if we could just get, I don't know, a trophy or a team in the Champions League or whatever, it would go through the roof, because we've got a lot of fans under 25, 30, even under 30 now, who might just remember us winning the cup in '95, but probably not. who go and have, fanatical fans over in America getting up like you, stupid hours in the morning and watching us for basically not. We haven't even been able to put 2 seasons consistently together. So if we could get a bit of it right, the club, I think, could explode even further. And I think, that's what we've all got to be aiming for, because you mentioned it just before, the ambition is there. They're starting to demonstrate that ambition, I think, for the first time in Farhad Moshiri, Rain, and whoever else is involved in him, with him. For the first time, and mentioning no names, in his reign, he's got the world-class manager he wanted. He's got the man who's been there, done it, won it, who players respect. We're getting people in who are on another level to what we've had, and hopefully that'll just continue to develop. And if the fans can get behind it, and if the players can deliver and the reach gets bigger, then we can move forward and go up a couple of levels, because that's how most of the elite clubs started. Manchester City, as we well know, we're nowhere near this big 10 years ago.
Good example.
So,
it's a good example.
I know it was a little bit different because they could spend what they wanted, but they still had to maintain that success. Chelsea are another club. When Everton were great, Chelsea you're just looking at them. They were a nothing club, were they? And look at them.
Absolutely.
So it can be done. I look at them across the park have always been a huge club, but where they were 4 years ago to where they are now is
different level.
Be a difference, isn't it? So it can be done. Let's hope we start to make those strides, but it all sounds like things are moving forward. Is there anything I've missed off there, so that's gone since our last meeting?
No, I think that's it for international. I think it's probably enough, isn't it, mate? As well, I think, as you say now, it's all set now. It's all in place. Let's hope that on a footballing side, primarily that we see the progress that we need to, because I think that's what we all want, and that'll drive the momentum more than anything else. So, fingers crossed. But no, it's it is exciting. The buzz amongst the supporters club leads at the moment. Not just in America, but I've been working with some of the South American groups as well. Is amazing for obvious reasons. So we want to try and connect that into other parts of the world as well now. And again, I want to make sure that these fans that have sort of stuck with us, through largely thin, are able to be part of sort of the next phase. So that's what I'm going to continue doing with the rest of the forum and with Joe and the other international members to keep it going. So look, we need to keep spreading the word, don't we, mate?
We do keep spreading Toffee TV word as well. Tell them that's where you get it. But 3 big games now in 6 days for Everton.
Yeah.
So Sunday's a big game and a tough game, but we've got Salford City then in the cup, the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. That's a big game, and then obviously West Brom early kick-off next, very early for you, next Saturday morning, isn't it? So a big week, and I'm guessing the interest will be there as well, and hopefully we have a great week, and that'd be lovely to just have three good results over the next week or so. I think will be incredible for us and get us right on a proper footing
completely
for the rest of the season. So fingers crossed.
Very good.
You mentioned it before. Hopefully we get a grip of this pandemic and we can get back in stadiums as well and really show the new lads what it's like to play for Evertonians, when we're behind you, and build everything else as much as we can. But keep fighting the good fight. So you're doing a great job over there. Keep spreading.
Yeah, and look, if anyone, in any part of the world sort of wants to learn more about, how they can sort of, be part of, what we're doing, then, obviously I know you're in touch with people, but, they can get in touch with us at the Fans Forum. We can, if there's things that we need to point them towards the club on, we'll do that for the, with the engagement team that are building stuff as well. So, people should feel free to get hold of us. Yeah,
most definitely. If you're watching this from anywhere and you want to speak to Tony, you can do. He's at Chicago Evertonian, but like you said, the Fans Forum is there as well. Get in touch with them if you want to become a supporters club, or you just want information about your local supporters club. There's the avenues are there now. You can have conversations with people about what to do next and get on board the Everton train, because it might just be going a little bit quicker than it has been for a few years. Fingers crossed. let's see what happens. Big thanks to Tony for getting up at the crack of dawn in Chicago and recording this. He told me before, it's just before his kids made loads of noise and he won't be able to speak. So there you go. Nato, big pleasure, mate, speaking to you. Thanks very much for getting up. And I guess I'll speak to you again in 4 to 6 weeks and see how we're going with it.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, happy to speak anytime, and thanks for having me on again. Good to see you, mate.
Top man. Big thanks there to Tony Sampson joining us all the way from Chicago. Make sure you check out the fans forum, like I said, if you want to get involved in any of the supporters clubs. Otherwise, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and if you want more videos, join us on Patreon. See you later.